Okay, our next chapter in Wonder is Why I Changed My Mind. All right, who's telling this story? Whose perspective are we hearing right now? Jack Wills. Why I Changed My Mind. Does anybody remember? It's been a lot of days. What he's even talking about? What's he talking about? He's talking about doing what with August? Being friends with him, yes, but like specifically, does anybody remember?
You're talking about August, and I think like him coming to the school and he doesn't want to go.
Coming to the school to meet some friends.
Yeah.
The principal wants Jack Will to befriend him and kind of show him around the school. That's what he's talking about. I know it's been a lot of days since we've kind of read this. Okay, why I changed my mind. Who else did Mr. Tushman call? I asked my mom later that night. Did he tell you? He mentioned Julian and Charlotte. Julian, I said. Ugh, why Julian? You used to be friends with Julian. Mom, that was like kindergarten. Julian's the biggest phony there is, and he's trying so hard to be popular all the time. Well, said Mom, at least Julian agreed to help out this kid. Got to give him some credit for that. I didn't say anything because she was right. What about Charlotte? I asked. Is she doing it too? Yes, Mom said. Of course she is. Charlotte's such a goody two-shoes, I answered. Boy, Jack, said Mom, you seem to have a problem with everybody these days. It's just, I started. Mom, you have no idea what this kid looks like. I can imagine. No, you can't. You've never seen him. I have. It might not even be who you're thinking of. Trust me, it is. And I'm telling you, it's really, really bad. He's deformed, Mom. His eyes are like down here. I pointed to my cheeks. And he has no ears. And his mouth is like... Jamie had walked into the kitchen to get a juice box from the fridge. Ask Jamie, I said. Right, Jamie? Remember that kid we saw in the park after school last year? The kid named August? The one with the face? Oh, that kid, said Jamie. His eyes got wide. He gave me a nightmare. Remember, Mommy? That nightmare about the zombies from last year? I thought you were watching a scary movie, answered Mom. No, said Jamie. It was from seeing that kid. When I saw him, I was like, ah! And ran away. Wait a minute, said Mom, getting serious. Did you do that in front of him? I couldn't help it, said Jamie, kind of whining. Of course you could help it, Mom scolded. Guys, I have to tell you, I'm really disappointed by what I'm hearing. And she looked how she sounded. I mean, honestly, he's just a little boy, just like you. Can you imagine how he felt to see you running away from him, Jamie? Screaming? It wasn't a scream, argued Jamie. It was a, ah! He put his hands on his cheeks and started running around the kitchen. Come on, Jamie, said Mom angrily. I honestly thought my boys were more sympathetic than that. What's sympathetic? Said Jamie, who was only going into the second grade. You know exactly what I mean by sympathetic, Jamie, said Mom. It's just he's so ugly, Mommy, said Jamie. Hey, Mom yelled. I don't like that word. Just get your juice box and leave Jack and I for a second. Look, Jack, said Mom, as he left the room. And I knew she was about to give me a whole speech. Okay, I'll do it, I said, which completely shocked her. You will? Yes. So I can call Mr. Tushman. Yes, Mom, I said yes. Mom smiled. I knew you'd do that. I knew you'd rise to the occasion, kiddo. Good, I'm proud of you. She messed up my hair. So, here's why I changed my mind. It wasn't so I wouldn't have to hear my mom give me a whole lecture. And it wasn't to protect this August kid from Julian, who I knew would be a jerk about it the whole time. It was because when I heard Jamie talking about how he had ran from August going, "Ah!" I suddenly felt really bad. The thing is, there are always going to be kids like Julian who are jerks. But if a little kid like Jamie, who usually is a very nice kid, can be that mean, then a kid like August doesn't stand a chance in middle school. 4 things. First of all, you get used to his face. The first couple of times I was like, whoa, I'm never gonna get used to this. And then after about a week, I was like, it's not so bad. Second of all, he's actually a really cool dude. I mean, he's pretty funny. Like the teacher will say something and August will whisper something funny to me that no one else can hear, and it totally makes me crack up. He's also just overall a nice kid. Like he's easy to hang out with and talk to and stuff. Third of all, he's really smart. I thought he'd be behind everyone because he hadn't been to a real school before, but in most things, he's way ahead of me. I mean, maybe not as smart as Xemia or Charlotte, but he's up there. And unlike Charlotte or Xemia, he lets me cheat off of him. And I really need to. Though I've only needed to a couple of times. He's also let me copy his homework. Though we both got in trouble for that. The 2 of you get the exact same answers wrong on yesterday's homework, Miss Rubin said, looking at both of us, waiting for an explanation. I didn't know what to say because the explanation would have been, oh, that's because I copied August's homework. But August lied to protect me. He was like, oh, that's because we did our homework together last night, which wasn't true at all. Well, doing homework together is a good thing, Miss Rubin answered, but you're supposed to do it separately, okay? You could work side by side if you want, but you can't actually do your homework together. Got it? After we left the classroom, I said, dude, thanks for doing that. And he was like, no problem. And that was cool. Fourthly, now that I know him, I would say I actually do want to be friends with August. At first, I admit, I was only friendly to him because Mr. Tushman asked me to be especially nice and all that. But now I would choose to hang out with him. He laughs at my jokes, and I kind of feel like I can tell August anything. Like he's a good friend. Like if all the guys in the 5th grade were lined up against a wall and I could choose anyone to hang out with, I would choose August. Ex-friends. Bleeding scream. Bleeding scream. What the heck? Summer Dawson has always been a bit out there, but this was too much. All I did was ask her why August was acting like he was mad at me or something. I figured she would know, and all she said was bleeding scream? I don't even know what that means. It's so weird because one day, me and August were friends, and the next, whoosh, he was hardly talking to me, and I haven't had the slightest idea why. When I said to him, hey August, you mad at me or something? He shrugged and walked away. So, I would take that as a definite yes, and since I know for a fact that I didn't do anything to him, I figured Summer could tell me what's up. But all I got was bleeding scream. Yeah, big help. Thanks, Summer. You know, I've got plenty of other friends in school, so if August wants to officially be my ex-friend, that's fine. That is okay with me. See if I care. I've started ignoring him like he's ignoring me. This is actually kind of hard since we sit next to each other in every class. Other kids have noticed and have started asking me if August and I had a fight. Nobody asks August what's going on. Hardly anyone ever talks to him anyway. I mean, the only person he hangs out with other than me is Summer. Sometimes he hangs out with Reed Kinsley. A little bit. And the 2 Maxes got him playing Dungeons and Dragons a couple of times at recess. Charlotte for all her goody two-shoeing, doesn't ever do more than nod or say hello in the hallway. And I don't know if everyone's still playing the plague behind his back, because no one ever really told me about it directly. But my point is that it's not like he has a lot of friends to choose from. If he wants to diss me, he's the one who loses, not me. So this is how things are between us. We only talk to each other about school stuff when we absolutely have to. Like I'll say, "What did Ruben say the homework was?" And he'll answer. Or he'll be like, "Can I use your pencil sharpener?" And I'll get my sharpener out of my case and give it to him. But as soon as the bell rings, we go our separate ways. Why this is good is because I get to hang out with a lot more kids now. Before, when I was hanging out with August all the time, kids wouldn't hang out with me because they'd know I'd hang out with him. Or they would keep things from me, like the whole thing about the plague. I think I was the only one who wasn't in on it, except for Summer and maybe the D&D crowd. And the truth is, though nobody's that obvious about it, nobody wants to hang out with him. Everyone's way too hung up on being in the popular group, and he's as far from popular as you can get. But now I can't hang out with anyone I want to. If I wanted to be in the popular group, I could be in the popular group. Why this is bad is because, well, I don't actually enjoy hanging out with the popular group that much, and B is I actually liked hanging out with August. So this is kind of messed up. And it's all August's fault. Ooh, is it all August's fault?
No.
But he doesn't know that. The next chapter is called Snow. And it's only 2 pages, so we'll read it real quick. The first snow of the winter hit right before Thanksgiving break. Ooh, snow is exciting, isn't it? When the barometric pressure changes, little boys and little girls go crazy. School was closed, so we had an extra day of vacation. I was glad about that because I was so bummed about this whole August thing that I just wanted to chill out without having to see him every day. Also, waking up to a snow day is just about my favorite thing in the whole world. I love that feeling when you first open your eyes in the morning and you don't know why everything seems different, but it is. Then it hits you. Everything is quiet. No cars are honking. No buses are on the street. Then you run over to the window and outside everything is covered in white. The sidewalks, the trees, the cars. Your window pane. And when that happens on a school day and you find out your school is closed, well, I don't care how old I get. I'll always be going to think that's the best feeling in the world. And I'm never going to be one of those grown-ups that use an umbrella when it's snowing, ever. Ooh, Mrs. Reedesser is 37 years old, 37, and I am still gonna dance around in my pajamas when I wake up and find it's a snow day. Dad's school was closed too. So he took me and Jamie sledding down Skeleton Hill in the park. They say a little kid broke his neck while sledding down that hill a few years ago, but I don't think that's actually true. I think it's a legend. On our way home, I spotted this banged up wooden sled that was propped against this old Indian rock monument. Dad said to leave it. It was just garbage, but something in me told me to take it. So Dad let me drag it home, and I spent the rest of the day fixing it up. I super glued the broken slats together. I wrapped some heavy-duty white duct tape around them for extra strength. Then I spray painted the whole thing white that I had left over from the Egyptian Museum project. When it was all dry, I painted lightning in gold letters on the middle piece of wood, and I made a little lightning bolt symbol above the letters. It looked pretty professional. I have to say, Dad was like, "Whoa, Jackie, you were right about this sled." The next day we went to Skeleton Hill with Lightning. It was the fastest thing I'd ever ridden, so much faster than my plastic sled I was using, and because it had gotten warmer outside, the snow had been crunchier and wetter and good packing snow. So me and Jamie took turns on Lightning all afternoon. We were in the park until our fingers were frozen and our lips had turned blue, and Dad practically had to drag us home. By the end of the weekend, the snow had started turning gray and yellow, and the rainstorm turned most of the snow to slush. And when we got back to school on Monday, there was no snow left. It was a rainy, yucky first day back from vacation. A slushy day. That's how I was feeling inside, too. I nodded hey to August the first time I saw him. We were in front of our lockers. He nodded hey back. I wanted to tell him about Lightning, but I didn't. All right, that's the end of that chapter, and it is time for recess. So bye, boys and girls.